in terms of doing research on government agencies that do top secret military work, I mean, they would know, right? So you have interviewed a lot of people that have, at every layer of the onion, you don't have you don't see evidence or a reason to believe that there was ever aliens or UFOs captured from out of this world.
That is correct. And even perhaps more important, and perhaps this colors my thinking, but I am uniquely familiar with disinformation programs put forth by the CIA, or the agency as it's called by insiders, right? And I've learned firsthand about these programs, or rather learned from firsthand participants in strategic deception campaigns that the CIA has engaged in, beginning with Area 51. You know, the idea that all these reports of this U-2 spy plane, this giant long-winged aircraft flying 70,000 feet up. People didn't think airplanes could fly that high. And it's, the sun shining off of it. It looked like a UFO, and all the reports coming in. And the CIA opened up a UFO disinformation campaign office headed by a guy named Toto Odorenko, specifically for this reason. Now, does that mean that every UFO sighting in the world has been a U-2? No. But I come from that lane of thinking. And there are so many strategic deception campaigns. And as I look over the decades of how these same UFO stories, and again, this is just my opinion based on my reporting, this narrative that keeps reoccurring, it seems to me like a very large catch-all to keep the public's attention on that, not on that.
So to you, like, sexy stories like UFOs are going to be leveraged by the CIA for strategic deception.
100%. I mean, Google Paul Benowitz. I'm always amazed that Paul Benowitz's story is not more widely spoken of. And I think that's because there's like the sort of ufologists, or the people who are like absolutely convinced that aliens are among us. And I use that term loosely, but you know what I mean. And then there's the quote unquote skeptics, and the skeptics tend to be sort of like self-righteous. And I would never want to be self-righteous. So I'm not a skeptic. I'm just, agnostic, I suppose. But Google Paul Benowitz, and you can learn the story of that man who thought he saw a UFO in the 70s, early 80s. And the Air Force, because the Air Force intelligence community works hand in glove with CIA a lot, and some of the other intelligence agencies. Of course, there's 17, not just the CIA. And they destroyed Paul Benowitz. They sent him to a mental institution by pulling a massive strategic deception campaign against him, because they didn't want him to know about the technology that he was seeing at Kirtland Air Force Base. So look that up, and then you go, oh my God. And, to my eye, you can apply any of these other names, substitute in Paul Benowitz, or any of the current individuals, who really become convinced of X, Y, or Z, when in fact there's a strategic deception campaign going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of incentive for the CIA and other intelligence agencies to get you to look the other way on whatever is happening. Plus, from a enemy perspective, whenever two nations are at war, to try to create hysteria in the other.
But then you have the Thomas theorem that becomes applicable there too. If men define situations as real, they are real in their consequences, right? So this idea of like UFOs and we're being lied to, it becomes real to many people. And then that creates a whole subset of problems, to the point where things are spiraling out of control. And there is no center anymore, right? So a lot of people that are briefed on programs maybe aren't even aware of their position within a greater campaign. Or I'm wrong and there are aliens among us.